This weekend is Star Wars Day. So, I need a special drink to celebrate the most special day of the year. I got a bad feeling about this one. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus. I'm Doc Martinez, and in case you didn't know, I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan. And if you did not know, May 4th is considered Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. To celebrate, I'm coming up with a new Star Wars inspired cocktail. So today I'm showing you my newest creation. It was inspired by one of the best known quotes from the Star Wars movie, and it was said by multiple characters. I have a bad feeling about this. Cocktail quiz time. Who was the first character in Star Wars to say, I have a bad feeling about this? Well, let's get started. I have a bad feeling about this ingredients. Half an ounce tequila, half an ounce gin, half an ounce rum, half an ounce vodka, half an ounce bourbon, half an ounce blue curacao, 2 dashes Angostura bitters, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of lime, and Coca Cola, in this case Mexican cola. And I recommend garnishing with a lime and some cherry. Optional is some edible glitter. All right, now that we have all the ingredients, you probably know why it's called I have a bad feeling about this, right? Well, I am going to start off with the optional edible glitter because I always forget to put this at the end. So just put a little bit in here, and I'm making it directly in the glass. I'm hoping this glass is big enough to hold everything we're putting in here. We'll find out. I already have some ice in here. You don't need a lot of glitter. Glitter actually does pretty well in drinks and stands out. So I just want to make sure we add that first. All right, so I have the tequila next to me. Let's start off with this. So pretty much half an ounce of everything except for the bourbon. We're adding a whole ounce of that. Hopefully it fits. I'm gonna put this on this side for right now, just to give myself a little room. Now this is actually a cool rum. I got this when I was up in Spillway. I'm not a big rum guy, but this one just had so much flavor. I was like, why not use it in this drink? It just adds more flavor to it. So half an ounce of rum. It recommends white rum so you can see things better, but I don't have white rum, and I actually really like this rum. All right, my favorite gin. It's my favorite gin because my online adopted son gave this to me. So I always appreciate it. So whenever I can use a gin, this is the gin I use. Thank you, online adopted son, Iceman. All right. Yeah, this is a huge bottle of vodka. My wife used to like martinis, kind of moved away from them, but I used to get these big bottles just for that sake. All right, let's go ahead and get the bourbon in here. I'm using Knob Creek. Knob Creek is actually a really good one. I think it's a good one to use. And a full ounce of this. There you go. I'm going to put in my 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. And now my sweetener that I'm using, instead of using like a simple syrup, I'm using the blue curacao. I'm going to do like half an ounce to 3/4. I just want this to turn blue. I want this to look kind of outer spacey. So I'm going to go a little bit over half an ounce, but not quite a full 3/4 ounces. And that way it kind of turns it blue. It kind of looks more green than blue right now, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and stir this up. I'm gonna move this all over because we're not done yet. Put this back over here. Now, I'm gonna use a little bit of lemon and a little bit of lime just to help balance the drink out a little bit so that you enjoy the drink and it's not just all alcohol forward. You do wanna cut a piece and then kind of cut that in half. You don't want a whole bunch of this. You just want enough to add some flavor to this. And since I'm already cutting, might as well cut my lime. And I'm actually gonna get my garnish ready for my lime as well, so get that out as well. And once again, I'm just gonna do like 1/4 of a lime as well. Move that over. We're gonna squeeze this over the top a little bit just to add a little bit of flavor. Get that out of the way there. This little bit of flavor there. And let's stir this up again. And I was worried about not having enough space in here. I just want you to see this as it's spinning. You can see all that glitter in there. That's what the glitter's for, just to kind of make it look a little out of this world. I have another ice. I'm actually gonna add that ice in here because I was a little bit worried that with as much drink as I had in here, it wouldn't all fit. It fit. Let's add that extra ice in there. One last thing to add, but look how beautiful that looks already. The Coke, the Mexican Coke. If you can get Mexican Coke, I recommend using that. If you don't, then don't. And of course, you got to use Darth Vader to pop that open. And I just want to pour this over the top a little bit, kind of just have it sit on top. I'm not going to add too much of it, just enough to Add a little bit of flavor here. Nope, it's not staying at the top very well like I was hoping it would. I was hoping it'd stay on the top to add some, to add that color just to the top and sit there. Not enough sweetness at the bottom, but that's okay. Move this out to the side. We're gonna garnish with a lime and also some cherries. Use my little lightsaber to get these. Let me see if I can poke them. Should have gotten this ready earlier, but I didn't. All right, so I'm back. Got those cherries, got the lemon. I'm using this because it's bittersweet. This is a bittersweet drink. It's one of those that got a bad feeling about it. All right. Cocktail quiz time. Who was the first character in Star Wars to say, "I have a bad feeling about this"? The first instance of the quote is said by Luke Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. All right, time to go in for this. Let's go see how does this taste. It's very different. Not well balanced. Not well balanced. It probably actually needs just a little bit more Coke. I was trying to limit the Coke amount because I was trying to keep it separate, but it didn't separate. So add a little bit more Coke. Let's stir that up because I actually haven't stirred this in a second. And let's go in for that again. Let's go in for another drink. So the drink is actually very sweet to bitter. It's very interesting. I'm wondering if actually my lemon was a little bit old. And so I'm thinking the lemon added a little bit more bitterness to it than it normally would, because there's some bitterness and the sweetness of the Coke comes through. Now the alcohol, you don't taste it that much, and it's actually not that bad of a drink. It's a very drinkable drink. I could drink this easily. Does it taste anything like an old fashioned? No, it doesn't. But overall, it's not a bad drink. I do have a bad feeling about this one because if I drink this, I probably will have a rough time tomorrow, but going for another sip. This Sunday on May 4th, I'll be teaming up with Whiskey Therapy, Whiskey Corner, and our friend from the other space show, Whiskey Trek. There'll be some themed cocktails, some amazing pours, and of course some fun banter. Overall, it's going to be a great time, so hope to see you guys there. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me again on another journey down my old-fashioned rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.